Welcome to Fight News Now. I'm John Pollock with all of the latest news in mixed martial arts coming at you for the next 30 minutes. Today on the show, we're going to be previewing UFC 179 featuring the rematch between Jose Aldo and Chad Mendes. Plus, we're going to hear from Heather Clark from the current season of The Ultimate Fighter. Paul Daley will be joining us as well. John Ramdian and Robin Black are here for 3 rounds. And we'll take you up close and preview the new movie John Wick. But we kick things off with this week's newsmakers. Jose Aldo and Chad Mendes will share the octagon once again this Saturday at UFC 179 for the Featherweight Championship. After 17 consecutive wins, including a stoppage over Mendes in January 2012, Aldo will look for redemption on behalf of Nova União against Team Alpha Male and will do so in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Saturday's rematch between featherweight champion Jose Aldo and Chad Mendes has many questions going into it. Has Mendes improved enough to dethrone the champion? Can he handle the Brazilian crowd? Are Aldo's best days behind him? And how will the camp rivalry between Team Alpha Male and Nova União impact this bout? With the addition of Dwayne Ludwig to the Team Alpha Male coaching staff after UFC 142, Mendes has improved his stand-up significantly, scoring 4 straight knockouts after the loss to Aldo.
And he hurt him with the right hand. He's in big trouble. Trying to finish it here. And it is all over. Chad Mendes has finished Clay Guida.
Now he has to worry about getting taken down, getting put on his back, and being held there and punished, and also getting knocked out on his feet.
When the rematch was first announced, it was scheduled for UFC 176 in California. However, an injury to Scarface sent the bout back to Brazil, where Mendes will once again have to face the country's ravenous fans.
I've been there and I've done it now, so I've seen it. I know what it's like. Plus, I go to all the Vegas fights with all the Brazilians there too, so it's something I'm used to now.
The biggest question on the champion's side is whether or not his best days are behind him. While competing for the WEC, Aldo scored knockouts in 7 of his 8 fights. However, since joining the UFC, he has just 2 finishes in 6 outings. This could be the result of facing better competition. However, much like GSP and his takedowns while he was champion, Aldo has used his signature leg kick to keep himself out of trouble while securing decision wins. Now, when it comes to the Team Alpha Male Nova União rivalry, it has never been hotter, as the normally calm Aldo lost his cool at a media day stare-down with the challenger.
He's not thinking clear.
Can Aldo beat Mendes again and silence Team Alpha Male for good? Or will money avenge his loss and set up the trilogy with Scarface?
Their last fight was full of controversy after a fence grab by Aldo kept them upright in the opening round and then caught Mendes with a flying knee to end the fight with 1 second to spare in the opening round. We now send it over to our panel of pros to predict the outcome of this Saturday's Featherweight Championship fight.
You know what? I'm not sure. They're both, in my opinion, they're the 2 best guys at 145. This isn't a champion versus a general contender. I think these are genuinely the 2 top guys in the weight class.
Yeah, I think Chad is being in a great moment. I think it's a really good fight, really interesting. But I cheer to Jose Aldo. Great fight. I love him. I love his style. He's one of the best pounds for pounds in the world, all time. He's gonna show the star of the champion.
Chad has the tools to wear the belt. He sticks out in the MMA world how Tyson stuck out in the boxing world. He's a different athlete for sure. And that's coming from Team Alpha Male. He sticks out from all the guys there. He's a special athlete for sure.
Mendes is a badass. And obviously, Aldo is one of the pound for pound greats, but he's at this point where I think, other than the Korean Zombie, hasn't been too much finishing under him since Mendes. At one point, does a champion kind of become stagnant in regards to who he is?
Yeah, you know, I fought Jose Aldo, and I fight Chad Mendes all the time, and both of them are beasts, man. I mean, 2 of the most athletic guys I've ever put my hands on, both explosive and dangerous. So I think the difference will be, you know, Chad's grappling. Aldo's got that, the leg kicks that are kind of his, like, superpower, and I feel like Chad's unstoppable takedown is his superpower. So when it comes to that, Chad's going to have the ability to dictate where the fight goes, and that's going to be the difference.
You know, it's our time to shine. You know, Team Alpha Male has been around for a long time, and now we're starting to make big statements, and we have a title under our belt, and we're looking for another one. He's the most capable to beat Aldo in the whole entire world. You know, he should be a champ. I believe he deserves to be the champ.
If Aldo loses this fight, there are no more Brazilian champions. Throw that back 5 years ago, that's a huge statement. And he, in many ways, is carrying the belt and the flag when he goes into the cage. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what that does to him. Does it help or hinder?
I'm assuming Mendes is training with Bang Ludwig, just like Dillashaw was. Maybe he comes in with that awkward style of stand-up, switching between southpaw and orthodox, a lot of footwork, head movement, unorthodox strikes, and throws a very traditional pot shot, one shot style striker off with this overwhelming style of striking. So I could see it going either way.
I got Aldo.
How?
Knockout.
I think Jose Aldo gonna knock out Chad Mendes again, but this time not gonna be too easy like the first one.
What is it, 6-fight winning streak that Mendes is on? So he's hungry, and I've been listening to him on different podcasts and this and that. He wants it.
From our panel of pros, we now move over to UFC lightweight champion Anthony Pettis, who was scheduled to fight Aldo back in 2013, but the fight didn't come to fruition. Pettis shared his thoughts on who will emerge victorious this Saturday and wanting that eventual fight with the reigning featherweight champion.
Chad's a completely different fighter than he was when he fought Aldo the first time. Definitely got better with the striking. His wrestling's still there, so it's all about game plan. I mean, when you fight at this level, it's all about who has a better game plan, who has a better night. We're pretty much evenly matched across the board. We have the access to the same coaches, to the same training. It's who can perform better that night and who has a better game plan. So that's going to be a fun fight to watch. I'm excited. I mean, I think if Chad beats Aldo, Aldo moves to 55, and vice versa. I don't see it happening. I think Mendes is going to take it. But if vice versa happens, Aldo needs somebody to fight, I'm here.
After a 2-week hiatus, Tough is back with this week's fight, pitting rivals Felice Herrig and Heather Clark against one another in a rematch from a Bellator fight back in 2013 where Herrig won by split decision. The fight came after lots of talk back and forth, and Clark knew a rematch was in store when both ended up in the Ultimate Fighter house.
Well, she freaking screamed in my face, so I don't know. Like, I wasn't, when I was in the fight, I wasn't thinking about what was going to happen after the fight. The only thing I was thinking about was, what do I got to do to win this fight, and perform at my best. But it definitely changed my mind or made my mind up quickly when she yelled in my face, and that was pretty obvious that nothing was squashed, and that if anything, it's only going to get worse from here. So I thought that was very, very unsportsmanlike. And she came out and did like this public apology and said, if Heather did something like that, I would have backhanded her too. Like, I shouldn't have done that. And then now, to promote this fight, she's like posting it. She's posting that picture of yelling in my face. So I thought I don't really understand how you're going to apologize publicly and then go out and then publicize it, the same picture, you publicly apologize for. So, yeah. When I got the word that I was on the show, like, I knew for sure that I was going to fight her. Like, on my application, it was really funny. Like, the last question on the Tough application was, tell us something interesting about yourself. And I went on to talk about my hockey career, my theater background, my son, everything I've done. And then the last thing was like, and I want a rematch with Felice Herrig with the cherry on top. So, it was something that I wanted as well as I think the fans wanted.
And last but not least, we hear from Paul Daley, who is fresh off a win at the K1 Max event earlier this month in Thailand. Daley was recently reunited with Scott Coker, with Daley signing a deal with Bellator, and is excited to be fighting under Coker, who promoted Daley while with the Strikeforce organization.
Scott's a real martial artist. His history is in the martial arts. He's a kickboxer. His whole life's been martial arts. He's been in martial arts movies, the stunt man, or promoting fights. He loves the sport, and when you've got someone like that who genuinely knows the sport as a fan and as a participant, then you're always going to get something good come out of it. Look what he did with Strikeforce. He's a fantastic guy.
You make the return in November?
Well, we'll see how we heal up.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it in there in November. I think it'll be good. I have an idea of who they're matching me with. I suspect nobody is going to be as tough as this guy for, especially on the feet. MMA is a whole different ball game, more space to move around, different angles, different distances. Everything's different. But being in this K1 arena, it's given me that extra confidence. I'm going against world-class guys, standing up, and I'm doing pretty well. You could see the level that I'm fighting at from having a look at the names.
That was Paul Daley chatting with this man, the voice of K1, John Ramdeen, and coming up on 3 rounds, you and Robin. It's going to be debate time.
Yes, of course. We're looking ahead to UFC 179, but that is not our focus. We have bigger fish to fry, and I'm talking about the biggest division and the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Yeah, and speaking of battered fish to fry, that's what Mark Hunt was doing up until about 24 hours ago. He now finds himself fighting for the interim heavyweight championship, and they will discuss it when we come back on Fight News Now.